Donald Trump, you're not my president, cause I'm not a citizen, just another immigrant, a permanent resident, stuck in the midst of it, rubbernecking as America drove off a cliff, thinking I wish I could vote, but not for you though. Hell no, I voted for Justin Trudeau. Here's a couple things that I think you know, even if you act in public like you don't. Climate change, you know that is happening, know that its impact is already damaging. You said so. A permit you applied for said the ocean's coming up on your Irish golf course. Well, here's another place you might like to protect. America, it's likewise under threat. Sea level rise, extreme weather events, infrastructure risk is bad for business. So I made a list to help you keep track, and since you don't read, I squeezed it in a rap. Would've put it in a tweet if I could achieve that. The seaside's about to need an evac.
Erosion
of coastlines, riverbeds, of time left, only chance we're gonna get.
Erosion
of ice in the glaciers, United Nations, isolation.
Erosion
of faith in democracy, your face in the dictionary next to hypocrisy.
Erosion, erosion, erosion.
Mr. President, sticking your head in the sand is not principled. The rate of sea level rise in Florida tripled in 1 decade, and that's easy to count. It's back when Billy Bush and you were hanging around, demonstrating your scruples. And since those days, the tidal flooding in Miami Beach has quadrupled. And that's great for business if you sell water pumps, but not for local residents who voted Donald Trump. So what you gonna do now? Lose Mar-a-Lago, or try to move it all to higher ground in Colorado? Some people try to tell me that you're all bravado, but I think you've got a calculation under all the guano. Come on though, what's Tampa supposed to do if another storm floods the bay with raw sewage? Is the EPA gonna stop the fluid spewing? Not under Scott Pruitt, all he wants to do is sue it. And what about common sense, national defense? You got several naval bases under imminent threat. It's not just the Gulf Coast, Hampton Roads about to have some of Virginia's dampest homes.
Erosion
of waterfront property, insurance underwriters can't even make a profit.
Erosion
of the public trust, coal burners filling up our lungs with dust.
Erosion
of real estate values, seawater coming up to surround you.
Erosion, erosion, erosion.
Mr. President, you know the fire season's out of control. Losses have doubled since I was 6 years old, with damage in the hundreds of millions. We lost a whole town in Canada's wilderness, you know. Climate change is a factor. The Pentagon calls it a risk enhancer. So why do you act like you don't know? With every new quote that it's a huge hoax. I really do want to take the charitable view. Basic ignorance, that's embarrassing for you, but it's not as bad as the uncharitable view that you're funneling profits to fossil fuel and getting kickbacks. There's a lot of gas to burn, and we don't know what you own. No tax return. All we know is you got a lot of fossil fuel cronies in your cabinet, and Tillerson and Putin are homies. And those with the most to gain from the claim that climate change is a hoax are praying that you can delay the clean energy transition long enough to cash a few chips in.
Erosion
of journalistic standards, we want answers, not panders.
Erosion
of public institutions, of safeguards against pollution.
Erosion
of civilization, it's not too late to make changes.
Erosion, erosion, erosion.
Mr. President,
erosion.
Erosion.